Liverpool take on Real Madrid at home in the Champions League. Here's the team I would play for the big game on the Tuesday night. Listen, one of the more predictable teams I think we've ever had to talk about as a Liverpool fan this season, certainly. I don't see a world in which he changes too much from the the weekend's game. I just believe you play the team that works. You go back to what works. We saw it, some small case studies around the team. You go back to the midfield three that works. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister. You go back to the full-back pairing that works. Bradley and Robertson. Only one outfield player, a new signing, Ekitike. When you integrate these players, slowly but surely, more stagnated approach, you get the best out of them because you're not cramming 5 new players in the team, therefore breaking up the already proven cohesion from last year. And it was proven right by doing that. So I think we see a similar thing today. Tomorrow. Injury news, Isak is not training, Jones is back in training. Although I'll be stunned if he plays. I do think that. I don't think he comes in straight away. Although I think there's a world in which he appears off the bench. Here's the team I would play. I'm so nervous for it. Obviously, we've got a terrible record against these in Champions League in the last few years, or last 5-10 years. Alisson obviously still injured. Mamardashvili keeps his place in goal. Really amazing save, which no one's really speaking about against Aston Villa. He kind of stretched over with his right hand at top left corner. Wow, what a stop that was. And if that goes in, might be a different story that game. Momentum starts to gather for Villa. Not getting spoken about enough. Mamardashvili, good game against Villa for me, clean sheet. I'll be stunned if Gomez comes in. I completely will be. I thought Konate had one of his better games of the season. I'd put it up there with Arsenal, up there with the Man United game for Konate, individually. One of his better games. Obviously part of a solid back 5 with the keeper to keep a clean sheet. One of the first clean sheets of the season, and I hope we carry on. So I'd keep the back 3, that unit there the same. I don't see a world in which Gomez comes in. I would refrain from bringing Kirkers back in. Obviously, he is the fitness play here. He played the midweek game against Palace, pretty much the full game. Robertson came off at 60 minutes in that Palace game. Therefore, Robbo played the full game, essentially, against... who did we just play? Against Villa. So the fitness plays obviously play Kirkers because he missed the weekend game. I just think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would you... Unless Robertson's really flagging, struggling and flagging... Then you maybe bring him off, whatever. But I'd play him for as long as possible here. He's been our best fullback this season. Our best left-back, sorry. I know fitness is a thing here, but I just think for these games, you've got to step up. We can't be the luxury of let's just rotate, let's just rest. I think we've been too nice this year in doing that, and maybe that's cost us a few times. I want to see a starting 11 become form now. I want to see a mould that we can now repeat week on, week out, and Robertson's the A-side right now for me. So I think Robertson plays if he's fit, and I think he is, so he plays. Off the right, I think it's very, very simple. I think people finally are starting to just chill out with the idea. Let's play Szoboszlai there. Szoboszlai can fill in as a right-back. What are you talking about, you dimmer, you utter idiot? Szoboszlai is off in midfield. Where's Bradley here? Where we're looking here? Number 12. Bradley plays. I'd be stunned if he doesn't. He had a really good game. Really good second half, certainly. I thought first half, a bit ropey against Villa. Second, just miles better. Coming up in the box quite a lot as well, which was really interesting. As was Robertson, by the way. Robertson was kind of pinning the centre-back like a striker at some points in that Villa game. Really strange. And he's like the last person you want the ball to fall to in the box, but Slot knows best, and he's told him to do it. So, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Mamardashvili. I'll be stunned if that isn't the back 4. The only possible person who could come in here would be Kirkers. That's the only thing I think we can expect here. I don't see Gomez coming in off the right, even though obviously players like Vinicius, players like Mbappe. Do you play the more defensive right back in Gomez for that reason, to stop that, mitigate them, the speed on the break, etc.? I wouldn't. We saw how good of a game Bradley had against Real Madrid. That tackle on Mbappe is still ringing round the grounds, right? I'd play him for that reason. I just would, sorry. Szoboszlai plays, first name on the team sheet for me, and he has been for about a month and a half. I would, next to him, play Ryan Gravenberch, and next to them, I'd play McAllister. Again, if Jones is fit, I think there's a world in which he plays. I think he was that good before he got injured that him playing here would not be like, well, why is Jones playing there? So that's fine if he does play. I've not got a problem with that at all. However, McAllister was arguably our best player last game. He was certainly one of them, right? One of his best games of the season. I'd say probably his best, actually. That's exactly what we know he can do. What he did last season for the whole season. Those performances led us all to say he was the best midfield player in our team last year. Leading some people, myself included, to say he was the best midfield player in the whole league last year. So it's not like we're surprised that McAllister did that the other day. But we know he can do it, and he did it, which is great. And what a great time to do it before Real Madrid and Man City, back to back. That's when you put in your best performance of the season. Be stunned if he doesn't start, but Jones, if he's fit, might come on and do something off the bench, certainly. I think it'll be a 4-2-3-1 again. I stand by this, I do. I'd still like to see this in that kind of shape. However, we're not going to see that. And if we saw the Villa game again, we're going to see a 2 and a 1, which ultimately isn't too bad. Like, I prefer that to Wirtz in there. I do. That was my main problem with 4-2-3-1. It's you've not got the three midfielder presences in the 4-2-3-1. But with Szoboszlai in there, you almost have. You've got a number 8 playing number 10 effectively there, which is great. That almost, for me, equals a 4-3-3 shape, in a way. I know it's a bit more inverted and skewed, but I guess you need Szoboszlai more advanced to then push on and press, which is what was so evident we were good at. Like, it was so clear we're a miles better team with Szoboszlai on the pitch, off the ball. It's so true, right? And I think that's where it gets a bit interesting with this team selection here. I think a lot of people will agree with what I've been saying so far. It gets tough when you talk about the left wing. So I'm going to come on to that at the end because the other two selections are quite simple. Ekitike plays this game. Isak is not, I believe, not training, Arne Slot said, so there's no chance he'll play. Obviously, just touch on Frimpong, he's out for, I think, 5 more weeks. Gutted for him. Gutted. Players like Leone still out. Players like Endo won't play. Engamoa shouldn't start, in my opinion. Naoni won't play. Gomez, I'm just going through the bench here. Chiesa, I don't think Chiesa will play. Obviously, it's Real Madrid at home. You play Salah in these games. I don't care if Salah not scored in a year. You play Salah in these games. Real Madrid at home. Of course you do. So Salah's a gimme. Ekitike is a gimme. Off the left, it's Gakpo or Wirtz, and this will be the main conversation. It has been the main conversation in fan base over the last 2 days. A lot of the talk was Gakpo was our worst player against Villa, and I wouldn't disagree. I think he did have a poor game. I'm going to do, in fact, a separate video on Gakpo. I feel so strongly about this player. I believe the way he's treated is not the same as other players. I believe he's scapegoated when he shouldn't be. We've just won the game 2-0 there, and everyone's going in on a player for no reason. We've won the game 2-0. Just because he was the weakest of the players. Don't when you have to highlight him, let's talk about how good the other players were. What? We've been negative for 5 weeks in a row. Rightly so, because we're getting beat every week. The one game we actually win, let's talk about the players playing fucking well. Spread it onto Gakpo for no reason. I told you, I don't like to say I told you so. I came on here week one, and said Gakpo will be the scapegoat this year, unfairly, unjustly. Of course he will be. Now Diaz and Núñez have gone, you're all going to jump on this guy because the only guy we've got left until he then goes and does what Diaz does at Bayern Munich, and then you're all going, I wish we had Diaz back. No, you didn't. You're the one who bullied him out of the team, you idiot. Gakpo's fantastic. Get used to it. I think if he starts tomorrow, it was perfect. Like, great. Good, we've got a great option there on the team. You're speaking like Wirtz has been some sort of superhuman this year. Or Wirtz has to come in. It was proven against Villa that Gakpo doesn't... He's not really working right now. What's he talking about? Wirtz hasn't been very good this year. Gakpo's been a better player than Wirtz this year. Oh my God, it's not even a conversation. He's got more goals, got more assists, he's been more involved, he's got bigger goals, better performances. Well, so Wirtz comes in straight away based on one performance. Really? In this Villa game, I would not be totally annoyed with Wirtz coming in as off the left here. I wouldn't do it. Personally, I'd play Gakpo again. I'd play the team that won the game 2-0 until we start losing. I'd just keep playing them. That's what you got to do, right? Surely. Gakpo's been fantastic this year. One performance does not change that. I also don't think he had a great game against... Was it Chelsea? I want to say Chelsea. Might not have been. He had a poor game that day. I think it was Chelsea. If Wirtz comes in, fine. It's nothing against him. I just want to fight his corner because he's been really good this year. And in this team, I think he offers a bit more balance, I'd say, than Wirtz. A bit more of an angle. I'd say... How can I word that? I just think he offers a bit more... Firstly, width is the obvious comparison here. He's a winger, he's not a winger, Wirtz. Wirtz wants to operate in these more central areas. Whilst Gakpo does as well. Gakpo, obviously his main trick is to kind of start wide and come inside on his right foot and shoot. Most people, in fact, are saying it's too predictable. Well, what we're doing here? Robin did it for years. Salah's done it for years. They're coming on the weak foot from those two, from the right to the left, and they score. It's not about are they going to do it. It's about when they're going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to start with Gakpo. I'd start him. I would. I do agree though. Wirtz should be coming on sooner. If Gakpo is having the game he was the other day, which wasn't great. Wirtz coming on with 15 to go. I wasn't a fan of that. I'd bring him on sooner. I would start with that team again. I could have literally just said that at the start. Right, hey guys, welcome to the channel. Starting the same team again. I think we'll win the game. But no, because there's a lot of reasoning, I think, behind those selections there. Just to summarise, Kirkes could play the game, and I won't be annoyed if he does. Jones could play the game, and I won't be annoyed if he does, but I don't think he's fit. Wirtz could play the game, same reason for him. Isak won't play. Chiesa is a great option off the bench. That's Gomez maybe off the bench. That's about all I've got, and that's how a team that I think at least gets a draw here. I've watched Real Madrid about 3 times, maybe 2 or 3 times. Maybe just the games I've watched them, but they've looked quite disjointed this season and last season. I mean, if last season anything to go by, I'm not entirely convinced by this side in terms of being one of the best sides in the world. I still don't think they are, from what I've seen. Obviously, they've got some of the best players in the world in their team. Mbappe's on fire this year. He is their talisman. I actually think there's a world in which Mbappe's quite underrated, and I think that's the world we're living in because he's fantastic. He's up there with Haaland and Kane, and like the numbers this guy's putting up. I think he scored more goals this year, or more contributions than Salah. Was it Salah, Ekitike, Isak, Wirtz combined, or something like that? Crazy, mate. So obviously Trent's the big talking point as well. I think you almost as well here. You play who you think can get the better of Trent. Because if Trent doesn't start, then what do I know? He might start Valverde there, sorry. But if he does start, surely you play Gakpo over Trent because Gakpo knows how to play against Trent because he's done it for years. Or is the alternative angle there, well, Trent knows how to defend against Gakpo, so you don't play him for that reason? You can look at it both ways, I guess. I'd play him partly for that reason. I'd just play him partly because he's a good player. I think that's as simply put. He's so overhated, it's untrue. There's my team. I think we win... I said 2-2 against Villa, didn't I? I think we win 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. Salah to score. Szoboszlai to score again. Well, fantastic player. There's my team. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll be live after the game. Excuse me. I just smashed 2 double sausage and egg McMuffins. Well, I say 2. 1.5 because they sent me 2 by mistake. So I thought, well, I can't leave 1 there and bin it. So I had half. Is that allowed? What would you do if you had 2 massive double egg and sausage McMuffins, but they sent you 2 by mistake? You eat them both? 1.5 I think is reasonable. 1, you can't leave 1. People dying in the world. You can't bin 1. I'll go 2-1. Please do subscribe. I'll be live after the game. As always, live after every game, half an hour after. Nice one. Ta-da. See you later. Leave a like if you enjoyed. See you in a bit.